I got a new rod and a new reel, and it's unboxing and setup time. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome. What's up, everybody? Thank you for clicking on the video. Today I got a new rod in from 6th Sense, and I have a new reel that I'm going to mount to that bad boy. We're going to crack them both open. We're going to do the setup, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what I'm going to be using this setup for. If you guys didn't see my last video, we did a swim bait unboxing where we took an up close and personal look at lures like this. Go check that video out. Got some new swim baits added to the arsenal, and I think you guys will really enjoy that if you haven't seen it already. Just one video back here on the channel. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, consider subscribing. I put out new fishing videos all the time, both from in here in the garage doing tackle unboxings, gear unboxings, as well as out there on the water fishing. I would love to have you guys on board, ride with me. This is the subscriber board. We recently passed 12,500 subscribers, so thank you to everybody who has subscribed recently. We're on our way to 13K, but I'm on a mission to hit 100,000 and obtain that elusive silver play button. So if you guys like what you see, if you have fun, if you enjoy the video, consider subscribing and turn those notification bells on so you catch all my future content. Now let's get right off into this unboxing. Obviously, I got a rod here, and you might be able to tell what's in this package. So I'm just gonna go ahead and crack off into it and get this thing rolling right along. The reel that I chose may not come as a surprise to many of you. It's a Shimano, and yes, it's another SLX DC. You guys know I love my SLX DC reels, and I've been getting a lot of suggestions, people telling me to get this reel, to get that reel, but in the interest of keeping the lineup consistent, also with budget in mind, I decided to grab another SLX DC. I was trying to keep it in that $200 range, and I just landed on another SLX. What do you want me to say, man? I love these reels. They perform really well for me, and so I decided to grab another one. This is the SLX DC 150. It's gonna be the 6:1 gear ratio. Go ahead and crack it open and take a look. If you guys have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you're used to seeing these reels here. You'll be familiar with how these things look, but it wouldn't be an unboxing if we didn't crack all the way into the wrapping and get this thing out and let it breathe some fresh air. .3:1 SLX DC. There it is, man. The heater, the new heater, gonna be mounted up to this new rod here that we got from 6th Sense, and we'll go ahead and do the setup in this video as well. Spool it up with some fresh line, and I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what I'm gonna be using this combo for. All right, let's crack off into the tube. One thing I love about 6th Sense is that they ship all their rods in these big PVC tubes. I've never once had a rod arrive damaged from them, so that's awesome, man. I love the way they pack these things. Safe and secure for that ride. All right, the rod's out of the tube. Let's go ahead and get that turned around, and I'll show you guys what it is here in a second. But also, with a new rod, I needed some new rod sleeves, so these 6th Sense fishing rod sleeves are the best rod sleeves that I've personally ever used, and they eliminate a lot of the issues that you encounter with other rod sleeve styles. It's not a mesh rod sleeve, it's this nice padded foam covering, and they smell so good fresh out of the package. I don't know what it is about these things. Super weird, but yeah, I love the way they smell. So I wanted to grab those. Got this one. Got another one for another rod over there in the boat that's actually missing a rod sleeve right now, so doubled up on those. Some of the nicest rod sleeves in the game from the people over there at 6th Sense Fishing. Really quick, if you guys are interested in scooping up this rod, the rod sleeves, any of these baits that you see back here on the tackle wall, all available on 6thsensefishing.com, and I can save you 10% off everything on the website with that JR10 code. You know the deal, JR10 for the win, heaters only. Just enter my code JR10 at checkout, and that's gonna give you 10% off of everything that you order. All right, now let's crack off into this, show you guys what rod I decided to go with. I ordered this specific rod with the intention of filling a little bit of a gap that I had in my lineup. I have a lot of medium heavies, and I have a lot of heavy action. I have a lot of extra heavy action swim bait rods and a couple crankbait rods. This one right here is gonna fill in that gap where I didn't really have any lighter action rods, just something a little different from what I currently have on the boat. And it's going to enable us to do a few more techniques with the bait casters without having to switch up to a spinning setup. If I can get the thing out. Come on, buddy. I mean, come on, buddy. Woo, it's a heater. All right, now I've made it no secret. You guys know how much I love the Sensory series from 6th Sense Fishing. Out of all the rods that they make, I think the Sensory series is probably my favorite. Not quite as high end as the Unicorn, but just an excellent, excellent higher end rod coming in at that $250 range. And this right here is the 7-foot 2-inch medium fast Sensory series. Absolutely love the Sensory series. 7-foot 2-inch medium is gonna enable me to do some lighter finesse style techniques that I normally would have to switch switch over to a spinning setup for, and it's also going to enable me to throw smaller profile crankbaits. Even though it's a fast action rod, it is listed on the website as suited for crankbaits, so I'm gonna be throwing some smaller square bills on this thing. These rods are made with NanoSense nanographene matrix technology, and the detail on them is extremely nice. It's got a full grip handle, it's got that nice crown style hardware on there. I love that. Put a crown on it, and I wanted to grab me another one, so I went with that medium power. It's going to give us just a little bit more versatility in the lineup. I'm excited to add this setup to the boat. I'm gonna pair this rod up with a 6.3-to-1 SLX DC 150. We're gonna get it spooled up with some fresh fluorocarbon, and we're gonna have us a lighter setup for some different applications out there on the water. Let's get into the rigging. Oh yeah, feels nice. Action feels nice on that thing. I'm excited to see how it'll do with a crankbait. The action feels really nice on it, a little bit more parabolic, but like I said, I'm also gonna be using this thing for throwing stuff like a weightless Ned fry or a clout. Anytime that I don't necessarily need a heavier power rod and I'm looking for something a little bit lighter, but don't wanna switch up to that spinning setup, this is gonna be my combo for that. Ned fries, clouts, weightless worms, wacky rigs, and smaller profile square bills. That's what I have in mind for this setup. This SLX DC is gonna look nice mounted onto this thing. Let's go ahead and get it on there. Let's get it on. Locked down. Nice, dude. Doesn't that look sick? It's a good looking combo right there, man. I love the full grip of these, man. Normally I'm like a split grip handle type of guy, you know, it's what I've always kind of gravitated towards. But ever since I started using the Sensory series, I really like that full grip on there, man. That looks pretty slick. But you guys already know it isn't all about the looks. It does look cool, but the performance is what matters. And I've had nothing but awesome performance out of both my SLX DC reels and the Sensory series rods from 6th Sense. Now, as far as what line I'm gonna use on here, you guys probably already know if you've watched any of my rod and reel setup videos in the past, you know that I love the Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon, and for this setup I'm going to be doing the same thing, only instead of the 15-pound that I normally run, I'm going to bump it down to 12-pound, give myself a little bit lighter line on there for flinging those weightless worms around and getting those crankbaits down there just a little bit deeper. But first, as with all my setups, I'm going to run a monofilament backing. If you guys are interested in wondering why I use monofilament backing and not electrical tape, I encourage you to go watch my other setup videos. I'm not going to go into that here now, but I know somebody will either ask or advise, and yes, I'm aware you can use electrical tape. That's not the way we do it over here. You guys know the deal. Monofilament backings on all my setups. That's just the way I prefer to do it. There are multiple benefits to doing it that way, and as I mentioned, if you want to know more about my thoughts on why I use this method, go check out my other rod and reel setup videos where I talk in depth about running a monofilament backing underneath your fluorocarbon or your braid. All right, now that I got this mono thread through the line guides, I'm just gonna go ahead and go through the line guide on the reel and get it tied to my spool here on the SLX. All right, now that I have my monofilament tied onto my spool, I'm gonna tighten my drag down, reel this on until I have a nice base layer built up to run that fluorocarbon over the top of. Let's do it. All right. Okay, I now have a sufficient amount of monofilament spooled onto my reel there, as you guys can see. Now I'm gonna grab my fluorocarbon, tie a connection knot onto here, and spool it the rest of the way up with Sunline Assassin 12-pound fluorocarbon. This is my favorite fluorocarbon line. It is abrasion resistant, and I have a lot of zebra mussels here on my lake, so Sunline Assassin has been my go-to for a long time, and that is what I'm gonna continue to use until I find something that works better for me. I'll be tying an Alberto knot here, which is my favorite connection knot. Wet the line. There you go, nice secure Alberto connection knot. Clip both my tag ends here. Give her one little tug, make sure she's snug, good to go. Now I'm gonna reel the rest of this fluorocarbon on top of this monofilament here, and then we'll be set up, ready to rig up a bait. Let's do it. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Make sure you fill those spools all the way up. Maximum capacity equals maximum efficiency, maximum performance, maximum casting distance, and accuracy. Like I mentioned, go check out some of my other rod rigging setup videos. If you guys want to know more about why I use the methods that I use while I'm spooling these things up, why I do the things that I do, I encourage you to do that before you leave a comment, but I appreciate you interacting either way. All right, she's about full. I'm gonna stop there. Let's get us a bait tied onto this sucker. All All right, it's a hot one out here today. I got this little USB powered desktop fan to hopefully cut down on the noise that we were experiencing from the bigger fan that I ordered. Constant struggle staying cool out here in the garage. Also drinking a nice cold Zevia as always. Shout outs to Zevia 0 calorie soda. You guys that didn't know, I used to be about 300 pounds and I lost about 100 pounds drinking that soda right there, man. So if you guys are looking for a good option to cut out the sugary drinks and you're like me and you like a nice cold carbonated soda when it's hot, check out Zevia, man. No affiliation whatsoever. They just probably absolutely helped save my life, if we're being honest. And they taste really good, refreshing. I love the Zevia sodas, man. Usually drinking the Dr. Zevia, but I got that strawberry on deck today. Now, I went off into the boat, grabbed some terminal tackle here, and what we're gonna do with this setup for now, like I said, I'll probably end up throwing some cranks on this thing, as they say it is suited for that application, but for now, I'm gonna go into my terminal tackle box here. I'm gonna grab one of these bad boys. This is a Wacky rig hook, the weedless Wacky rig hook. And to be honest with you, I can't really remember what brand these are. I think it might be VMC or perhaps Gamakatsu. Either way, it's just a small Wacky rig hook with a little wire weed guard keeper on there. And that's what I'm gonna tie onto this setup. There we are. Now, I'm gonna take one of these watermelon candy Clout 5.4 stick baits from 6 Cents Fishing. That's what it looks like right there. Watermelon candy, one of my go-to colors, one of my confidence colors. It's green pumpkin with black, purple, and green flake. 5.4 inch worm style stick bait from 6 Cents Fishing. I'm gonna Wacky rig this bad boy. Take our wire keeper, open it up like that right there. Try to go right in the middle. And just hook it through the center of the body of the worm, just like that right there. Then close my keeper back down. Boom, there it is. Wacky rigged Clout 5.4 on the new Sensory Series. Oh, got my line all tangled up. Sensory Series, medium power, fast action rod. Whoa, come here. With the SLX DC mounted up, fresh 12-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon, Wacky rig Clout, and that right there is gonna be the deal, man. It's an excellent summertime option. Those lethargic fish looking for an easy meal, throw them a Wacky rig, especially when the bite gets tough. And I'm looking forward to being able to throw this on a bait casting setup as opposed to switching over to the spinning setup. Like many of you, I'm sure, spinning setup, not my favorite thing to use, but this lighter action rod is going to enable me to throw this weightless Wacky rig on a bait caster. I went with a lower 6.3-to-1 gear ratio SLX. That way I could bounce back and forth between setups like this and some crankbaits, smaller profile square bill crankbaits like the Curve Finesse square bill right here. One of my favorite square bills. This is the 4K shad color. This thing right here is a dominator all year long, all conditions, all seasons. I love throwing this small square bill. Anytime they're keyed in on smaller bait fish, this is an excellent option, and I'll be able to throw that with ease on this medium power sensory rod. For now, we got to set up with the Wacky rig, something that you guys haven't seen me throw before, and I'm looking forward to getting out there on the water with this and seeing if we can put some fish in the boat with it. One last step, we can take our new 6 Cents Fishing rod sleeve. Dude, it smells so good. I know it's weird, but we can put that protection, get that rod nice and protected, shielded from damage, and ready to roll for the next time we head out there on the water. There it is, man, the new setup. What do you guys think? Looking forward to throwing this bad boy with you guys. This will be one of only 2 medium power rods that I have on the boat. So like I said, man, I needed to fill that gap. I needed another medium power rod, something to throw some lighter baits with, and I'm stoked on this one, man. Not only does it look great, but I feel like it's gonna work great for the things that I wanna use it for. The Sensory Series from 6 Cents Fishing. If I had to pick just one series of rods to roll with, where I was gonna just buy every rod from the series, I would go with the Sensory Series. These are excellent, excellent rods. Super sensitive, very light, NanoSense nano graphene matrix technology built into them. Awesome touches on the detail, like that right there. You can see it just blinging and blanging. It says Sensory Series right there on the hardware. Nice hook keeper there on the bottom. Full grip handle. Yeah, just an awesome rod. Looking forward to using this, man. And if you guys are interested in scooping one of these rods for yourself, maybe some Finesse square bills or some Clout worms, you know the deal, man. 6centsfishing.com, JR10 for the win. Use code JR10 at checkout. It's gonna save you 10% off of everything on the website. The rods, the baits, the hats, the shirts, the apparel, the gear, everything, man. They have so much awesome stuff on that website. I'm always on there shopping around. I have a cart opened up right now on my laptop inside, and I'm about to place another order with some new baits to show you guys that just got released. We'll be doing another unboxing here really soon, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Huge shout outs and thank you to 6 Cents Fishing for supporting the channel and putting energy behind what we have have going on over here. Couldn't do it without them. Also, big shout outs and thank you to Waterland. If you guys are in the market for a new pair of fishing sunglasses, check out the Waterlands, waterlandco.com, and you can use my code JR10 at checkout, and that's gonna give you a whopping 35% off of these Angler-born quality built optical heaters. They just recently launched about a month ago. Special pricing going on right now for a limited time only. So if you want a pair of really nice sunglasses, go in and scoop some of those up and get them for the lowest price that you'll probably ever be able to get these things for right now by using that code JR10 for the win. Also, thank you so much to everybody who has shown support and used the code already. Much appreciated. If you do use my code, take a screenshot of the confirmation email that you received from 6th Sense or from Waterland and shoot me a DM over there on Instagram with that screenshot, and I will give you a shout out on my Instagram story. Everybody who uses my code gets a shout out. Just a way for me to give you public recognition and say thank you over there on the gram. Also, if you enjoyed this unboxing and rod rigging video, if you had fun, consider subscribing to the channel. Help me color in the bar and reach 100,000. I can't do it without you guys, but I greatly appreciate all of your support lately. We are ripping right along, and I can't thank you guys enough. It really does mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for helping me grow the channel. New setup coming to you live and direct in full effect very soon here on the channel. Make sure you hit those notification bells so you guys know when my new videos drop. We'll be out there on the water using this thing very soon. I hope you're all staying safe, sane, and healthy out there in this crazy world that we're living in. But that's all I have for you today. That about does it. That about wraps her on up. So I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and I'll see you on the next one. You guys see this right here? This is a perfect example of why you need a 6th Sense rod sleeve. I went and pulled the swim bait rod out of the boat. I was gonna put this new rod sleeve on it, try to pull this old rod sleeve off, one of the mesh style ones that I talked about earlier. And look at it, can't even, it's all stuck, man. The rod's all jammed up in there, and it's, these things are a pain, dude. Get you a 6th Sense fishing rod sleeve. You don't have to deal with this anymore. Dude, come on, let go. Let go of my freaking swim bait rod, dude. Throw this freaking thing in the trash.